Hello, this is Kenneth, creator of the Flop Inspector poker analysis software. In this video, we'll analyze the situations you face when set mining with a pocket pair in Texas Hold'em. A common question for a poker player is how often a pocket pair improves to a set or better. Knowing this percentage is useful and an easy task to figure out for the Flop Inspector. But what will make you an even stronger poker player is going further into these numbers and analyzing all the different types of flops you will actually face. Using the Flop Inspector, we can also take into account an estimated villain range, which will skew the numbers a bit. These card removal effects will often work in your favor when you are holding a low pocket pair and your opponent is more likely to hold big cards. Let's take a look at an example with deuces. Deselect all hand strengths and select only trips or better. We see that 12% of all flops give us a set, full house or quads. Also included here are the trips flops, which don't really give us a strong hand. By excluding those flops, we see that 2,304 flops, or 11.76% of all flops, give us a set or better. This is what is commonly referred to as the set percentage in Texas Hold'em. Now enter an opponent range. We see that considering this opponent range, we now flop a set 12.23% of the time. It might seem like a small thing, but having 7.2 to 1 instead of 7.5 to 1 can skew a decision from fold to call. This kind of precision math is what you need to keep an edge in Texas Hold'em these days, when players get better and edges smaller every day. Now calculate our equity against this range. In the equities chart, we find what we expected, an equity gap between our sets plus and all other flops. We calculate our equity against top 50% of hands from the villain range. This simulated c-betting frequency make our equities unimproved even worse, while our sets are still big favorites. In the flop details list, each flop can be examined. We see that on monotone and connected flops, our equity is not great anymore, while our quads are still in pretty good shape. In a more extensive Flop Inspector project, I have further divided flop sets in three categories: rainbow, two-tone, and monotone flops. The frequencies for each type of flop is best visualized in the group chart. Note that the most common scenario is that the flop has a possible flush draw, as 55% of all flops are two-tone. In the equities chart, we see that each group has different equities. Against villains' top 25% of hands, some of our sets on monotone flops are not even a favorite anymore. Further examine these flops by selecting them in the chart. So how do you use all of this information to become a better poker player? You further estimate how much equity you realize in each of these situations, which in turn will estimate your overall expected value. The very same approach can be used for any Hold'em starting hand, so you can make educated estimations of what will yield the highest expected value in any given situation. Use the Flop Inspector to compare how you're doing by calling, raising, or just folding pre-flop, by analyzing how your starting hand will do against villains' opening range, 3-bet calling range, or 4-bet range on all 19,600 possible flops. Good luck at the tables.